Hi, today we're going to be talking about using the Move tool within SketchUp. We covered this in class, but I want to go over it again and give you guys a video that you can reference off of very soon. After you use it 10 times, you won't even think about using it. It's very easy. So let's start. First, we're going to create something to move. So I'm going to let's just grab the polygon tool here. And I'm going to drag out a polygon of 6 sides, radius of 18 inches, and I'm going to pull it up, maybe say 4 inches. And that kind of looks like a garden paver to me, so I'm going to triple click on it and call it paver. Alright, so this is what we're going to be moving. Let's see. First thing we're going to do is you'll notice we have the arrow as a cursor. That's because we are in the select tool. Hit M for move. It becomes this 4 arrow cursor. You could also click on this button or go up here to the menu. But really you're best off using the shortcut M for move. Alright, so let's see. When you go to move something, you need to find a handle to grab onto it with. Now you can just pick the middle of the face. Alright. Hit escape, get out of that. Or you can grab an endpoint or an edge. Really, an endpoint is a better handle because an endpoint is often going to be corresponding to another endpoint in where you want to move this piece to. So right now I'm just going to grab this one endpoint, which is a corner. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to start moving this thing around. You'll notice this dotted line extends from the original location of that point to the current location of the point. If I move that line so it begins to correspond to an axis, it takes on the color of that axis. There's green, there's blue, there's red, and now if I hold down Shift for a moment, it becomes bold and it locks on to that axis and that motion. Alright, now here I can just hold down Shift, click when I want, and what I've done there is I've moved it in the positive red direction. Well, that's easy enough. I moved it by some distance, so I'm going to update that distance to say 15 inches or 30 inches or say 40 inches. Now what I'm doing here is I'm typing. You'll see in the bottom right hand corner, I type a 2 and I type a 5, I hit enter and it's like I'm clicking. So I can easily move something in a particular direction that is a particular distance by giving the distance in that box. I do not need to click over here to type in that box. Now I'm going to quickly make a copy and move it, and I'll talk about how I did that in a second. But I did that so you have something to look at. In fact, let me color this some color so it's easy to distinguish. Back to Move tool with M, and I'm going to take this endpoint and I'm going to move. Oops, sorry, I had that selected, so it's what moved by default. I can instead hit the select bar, space bar, click outside anything else, and I'm not moving that. Back to M for move. I'm going to move this endpoint over here onto that endpoint. See, it snaps to it, or it can snap to this one, or it can snap to that one, or it can snap somewhere along this edge. Alright? So use your inferences so that you can move things precisely. Right now this white paver is exactly aligned with the edge of this brown paver because I chose it as an endpoint to correspond to an endpoint. I can in fact put it on this line and then hold down Shift, and it stays on that line. Where along that line is kind of up to me, but it's very similar to what the axis just did. Alright, so I'm going to undo a couple things here because we don't really care about having multiples of that right now. Instead, I'm going to show you how to move and copy, which I just did a minute ago. I'm going to still be in the Move tool. Now I'm going to click on an endpoint. I begin to move the object, but now I type Control. I don't hold down Control, I just tab it really quickly and it toggles the copy on and off. See? And if you look at the cursor, you can see that there's a little plus sign while it's doing the copy. That means it's created an extra one. Now I'm going to jump into this move along the red axis. I'm going to hold down Shift, lock the inference, and I'm going to move that copy maybe 30 inches. Oh, let's go 40 inches so we're not overlapping. Now at this point, I can do my multiplying trick. So I can type *3, and what that does is that creates 3 copies. 1, 2, 3 copies plus one original for 4. That was *3. I can still update that. I can say *2 or *5 right now. Alright, so that's how we do a multiply. In this case, I had moved that, I think it was 20 inches or 30 inches. And so if this one is moved 30 inches, this is moved by 60, and this is moved by 90. So I'm going to get rid of those for a moment. And now I'm going to do the same copy move I just did. Lock my inference and say that was 120 inches. Or 150. Yeah, 150 is better. Now I'm going to type the / key, which is the key that under the symbol that's under the question mark next to your Shift key, usually. And bottom right hand corner you can see my slash. And I can divide that area the length I just moved that into by a factor of 2, or by a factor of 3, or by a factor of 4. Alright, so if I'm divvying that up, I had moved 150 total. Now I've moved 50, 100, 150. Rated /3. So now you see why we do /3, because it takes that 150, divides by 3, and to 50. Alright, that's how you can move and copy with your Move tool. Thank you very much.